You are now tuned into the Six Man Podcast brought to you by OXP Media. I am Brandon Graham alongside Mike Roach, of course, for another one, man. It's great to see you. You can find Mike at Mike_Roach_ on Twitter, Mike Roach 7 on Instagram. You can find me at Graham_JB on Twitter and G_JB on Instagram. Just want to say, just for it all, you can find this podcast on any listening platform when it comes to Amazon Music, Spotify, and of course, Apple Podcasts, right? You can find all of your listening needs there. But hey, the Six Man Podcast, man, we are right back in the thick of things in February, close to the All-Star break. Mike Roach, how are you doing? First of all, I want to give you a formal congratulations to you and the Hustle Play podcast or Hustle Play show with Chris Boucher. You're doing a great job there with Yahoo Sports Canada. Congratulations. Applause.
Thank you very much, my brother. It's something we've been working on for a little bit, and to see it come to fruition and actually get started is fun. And we're looking forward to giving you another episode very shortly. And I guess you'll just have to wait and see who our first Raptors teammate guest is going to be.
I think I kind of know. I'm going to guess it's a French-speaking man, pas français. But anyways, we're going to get into that. It's going to be a great time, and I'm looking to see the trajectory. But you can already see online, on Twitter, everyone's kind of embraced it. It's great to have new faces there, and Mike, you do a great job hosting it. And definitely natural.
Appreciate it, my brother. Appreciate it. And shout out to you with the First and 10 podcast, coming at people with the football analytics. Who you got in the Super Bowl?
I have the Cincinnati Bengals. So I've been a Cincinnati Bengals supporter since I was like 5 years old. I got the Bengals in the Super Bowl. That game's going to be incredible. I have something in the works really soon with a Bone Crusher, which is pretty much his name is Derek Dennis of the Calgary Stampeders really soon with something hopefully with the same company you're probably with, man. I'm just letting you know there's some stuff in the works that we have hopefully coming really soon. But yeah, thank you for that, man. Yeah, I got the Bengals. What do you got?
I don't know. I'm not a huge football guy. I'm hearing the Bengals look pretty nice. I mean, apparently from on both ends as well. But for football, for me, especially when the Super Bowl, is more about betting.
Yo, and let me give you the lock.
How many? There's like endless amount of bets you can make on the Super Bowl.
And I'm going to post something really soon to my Instagram, so make sure you stay locked into that. I was in a few episodes or a few podcasts this morning talking about bets, and I'm telling you right now, everyone should hammer this. I'm telling you right now, you'll win a lot of money. Touchback on the first kick of the game, it's going to be a touchback. I have something in for a lot of money. I should be getting a lot of money in for that. If it becomes a touchback and they don't return the ball, then I get a lot of money. If they don't, if the guy returns it out of the end zone, then I lose a lot of money. Okay, but betting is what it is. But listen to First and 10 podcast. I post all of our episodes there. It's something great. But the Mike Roach podcast too is incredible. But let's get into it. Let's get into our NBA content of the day and our content of the week so far. I'm gonna start here, Mike. Fred VanVleet, 21 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds a game. Sorry, pretty much has it locked in. He's an all-star going to the all-star game in Cleveland. His first time all-star, first time he's been drafted as well. Your takeaway from that and him being in the three-point contest as well, well-deserved, obviously?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's just too good at this point to be denied, right? Mm-hmm. The league is on notice. Coaches are on notice. And every night when this guy steps on the floor, he gets it done offensively. He's a good defensive player as well. He could do just a little bit of everything, right? He's one of a few in the NBA, right? And what I mean by that is we look at point guards, we look at combo guards, but you always know I talk about my guy Rashad Phillips, and he's been telling us for a minute that Fred VanVleet is a hybrid guard, right? Mm-hmm. He could take advantage of different situations depending on what's presented to him, right? Course, yeah. And there's just a few of those in the league. And Fred VanVleet, at this point in his career, you're damn right he deserves to be an all-star. And I don't even think he's at his peak yet. I really don't think he's at his peak yet. Mm-hmm. I still think there's a little further Fred VanVleet can go in regards to his playing. So, I mean, I'm happy to see it. Now, him in the three-point contest is interesting. We know he's a flat-out nice three-point shooter.
Consistent.
Now, I know he's a game shooter. I don't know if there's a difference between a in-game shooter
Mm-hmm.
and a shooter in the 3-point contest. I mean, that's evident. We've seen that before, right? We've seen great 3-point shooters get into a contest like this and they don't do well. But when they have two guys on them right in their face in an actual game, it's splash, right? So
Absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. I'm waiting to see it. Where do you think you have him ranked in this 3-point contest? What do you think? Who are some of the other participants as well?
That's a great question. I can't remember the actual name. I have to pull it up right now. But I want to quickly. So you mentioned Rashad Phillips, and Rashad Phillips, and many people, well, and hopefully in Canada you know this, but he was a problem in university and college. Rashad Phillips is obviously a problem. He was nasty. But when it comes to Detroit, he was disgusting, and he was playing with the guys like against guys like AI, so on and so forth. Fred VanVleet, I think he's going to be a heater. I think he's going to be a better 3-point shooter in this contest than like a JJ Redick, because I think he has a perfect form, like literally perfect form. It's him and Klay Thompson have the perfect form, and I'm going to pull up all the contestants for the 3-point contest right now, but I'm assuming Tyler Hero might be in there. There's really cool stuff that we can definitely get into, but before we get into that, and I'll obviously circle back to this really, really soon.
I think Karl Anthony Towns might be in it. Is he in that? Really? I know he's in something. It might be that too. Check it up.
Yeah, I'm going to figure out where, who is there with this. But let's get back to that really soon, because we need to make sure we have that, very, very accurate. But I want to talk about the Raptors, okay? And of course, you're with the Raptors. You had that great post of even Fred VanVleet getting the call that he's going to be in the All-Star game with all the teams corralling him against the Bulls. We saw DeMar DeRozan come over, and that was a staple win in this 8-game winning streak that the Raptors currently have right now. So they have the longest active winning streak in the NBA right now. And they won 139-120 against the Houston Rockets, where Gary Trent Jr. put up 42 points. Pascal Siakam had 30. It's the first game that two players in the Raptors had over 30 points in the same game. So that was actually great. There's no defense being played by Houston. Houston is awfully coached. I just don't think they're great executing at all. But
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far to say they're awfully coached. I wouldn't say that. They just don't have the talent, right? They're young. They don't have the talent. They can't defend. Offensively, they have some young guys with a little bit of skill, but I don't think it's necessary that they're coached poorly. They just don't have the talent to keep up with the rest of the NBA at this point.
That's true. Kevin Porter can obviously fill up the hole, but defensively, those guys, like especially Jalen Green, they have a lot to learn. But in the 3-point contest, we have Desmond Bane from the Memphis Grizzlies, Luke Kennard, who's, if you really think about it, he leads Ohio in high school when it comes to points, even over LeBron James. He's a bucket. Zach LaVine, CJ McCollum, Karl Anthony Towns is in the 3-point contest. We got Patty Mills, Fred VanVleet, and Trae Young. So Trae Young, Fred VanVleet, and I'm going to say Karl Anthony Towns, they headline the 8-point.
Trae Young could be a problem in this.
Hey, I'm telling you, Steph Curry was a problem in that competition as well too, but I'm looking forward to this competition the most out of anyone, because I want to see how Fred does. And I've been saying for a while, I've seen not even last year, the year before, I thought he was All-Star last year, but now seeing him and how well he's playing, plus the minutes he's getting, he's providing on all cylinders. But Gary Trent Jr., okay? Gary Trent Jr. said after the game against Houston Rockets that he doesn't want to be anywhere else. Coach Nurse lets him do what he wants. You mentioned on your podcast that Nick Nurse gets in his bag and runs the 1-2-1, which we ran a lot in high school, so on and so forth, and he likes to mix it up. What is your takeaway from Gary Trent Jr.'s game, how he's getting this shot, and of course, just how he's producing right now at such a high clip?
Well, I mean, Gary Trent Jr. has a higher offensive arsenal this season that we've seen thus far in his career. He's a lights-out shooter. He's going to the basket a lot more. He's aggressive. His step-back three is a part of his game where he's absolute butter at this point. Not too much of the mid-range game, which is okay right now, but he's just aggressive. And he's efficient. He doesn't have – if you realize about Gary Trent Jr., there's not too many games where he has, like, abysmal poor shooting games. Like, it just doesn't happen. And he doesn't take – if you look at his game, he doesn't take a lot of bad shots either. It's all in the flow. It's all in the motion of the game, right? A lot of catch and shoots. He's getting out there, and he's doing well finishing in transition when the Raptors are running. So I mean, it's not like he's doing anything crazy. I think he's just being efficient, getting taking what the defense gives him. Right? It's not
Mhm.
overly complicated. Like he's not doing anything nuts that we haven't seen him do before. He's just doing it at a higher level, right? So
Mhm.
that's really good to see. Um, and what also helps him is when you have a whole bunch of other guys doing things, when you have a Fred VanVleet and you have Pascal Siakam being super aggressive to the point where now defenses have to throw that double team
Have
in.
to.
And now when that ball gets kicked back out to the perimeter, that defense has to give those quick rotations. By the time it gets into Gary Trent Jr.'s hands, he lets it fly, and it's too late by that time.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I like what I'm seeing. It does make it easier for him when a bunch of other people are contributing on the offensive end as well. You have an OG Anunoby that the defense has to pay attention to. Fred VanVleet, they have to pay attention to. Scotty Barnes, they got to pay attention to. We already mentioned Pascal, they got to pay attention to. So, I mean, that does make things difficult for the defense if you have that many players doing that many things, and then it opens up the floor for Gary Trent Jr.
100%. That's a great answer, and yeah, definitely. He picks his spots. He can get off screens properly. Gets his shot up at a very efficient clip as well too. So I'm looking to see that kind of progress. And he's
So,
always been a bucket.
yeah. So, I mean, in addition to that, though, all the guys I just mentioned, what are you realizing about the team? What do you think is different now from what we're seeing from the Raptors compared to what we saw at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I thought at the beginning of the season they're hunkering down a little bit too much and letting Fred and Pascal kind of dictate the flow of the offense. Now you have Gary Trent, who's a little bit more comfortable in the system that they had. Now you have guys like OG Anunoby who can actually, work a little bit freely along the perimeter or even kind of post up and get to the basket if he needs to. And what they're doing a lot too is they're rotating the ball a lot better than what they did at the start of the year. Like the rotation is way better. You saw in the last game. I know it's not really the best matchup, for instance, but when the ball moves around, and it's similar to what I said about Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, moving around and getting the ball, the shooter's going to get the ball when they need to. You saw Chris Boucher getting the shot up and actually make efficient shots last game. You saw OG Anunoby get his shots. Gary Trent Jr., Malachi Flynn, for instance, even got his shots when the ball rotated, right? So I'm
Yeah.
seeing that there's a lot more trust instilled in all from the coaching staff to the players. Now they know exactly what the guys are doing. Everyone's settling into their roles, and that's the bottom line. Chris Boucher settled into his role. He's playing. I think he's been the most productive bench player by far on the Raptors right now.
Had 15 and 6 last game in 23 minutes.
Exactly, and efficient on the boards. Not being afraid of getting his hand up. Precious playing well as well too. Like you have guys that are 6'9", 6'10", with the exception of Fred VanVleet for them and Gary Trent Jr., who are he's around there, that are actually able to be versatile, or as Rashad Phillips and you like to say, hybrid players, where they can facilitate, they can handle the ball, pretty well. And they trust each other. They know they're going to get Pascal the ball into the mid range. They know they can get OG a shot as well too. So when you focus so much on Pascal, who's playing at an all NBA level, Fred VanVleet, he's playing as efficient as anyone in the NBA right now, that opens everything up for anyone else. And I think that's why the beneficiaries are Gary Trent Jr., they're an OG Anunoby, so on and so forth. I don't know if that's an accurate.
I agree with you as well. And I just wanted to say that I think Thaddeus Young coming into the lineup, and I was mentioning as well Kem Birch.
Mm-hmm.
So Kem Birch is working himself back into the lineup, and he's starting to get a few more minutes now. Now, some people forget quickly that Kem Birch looked decent before he went down with an injury.
He did.
Like he was helping in the middle. He does help.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not take Kem Birch for granted. I'm not saying obviously he's gone off or has gone crazy for points and defensive lockdown or anything like that. But what I'm saying is he is a big body. He's very strong. He has 6 fouls that he can commit. He can rebound.
Mm-hmm.
He's physical. He could shove guys around, right? And he has that little soft jump hook, right? When he gets that ball right in the middle. Mm-hmm. That's his bread and butter. That's what you want to see him do. He's not going to play 40 minutes and 45 minutes. But the point is that when you have starters, a Pascal, a Barnes that are inside, they do need rest if you want them to be as productive as possible at the end of the game. If
Mm-hmm.
Kem Birch gets in there and there's no drop-off with play, he can give you a 14 minutes, a 15 minutes. That helps. That
Right.
helps. Like, people
Absolutely.
need to understand that helps, right? A Thaddeus Young now who comes over in the trade from Goran Dragic.
Dragic. Goran
Oh,
Dragic.
boy.
My
Goran Dragic.
goodness.
You know, the thing I like about Thaddeus Young, he makes winning plays. He makes the correct decisions when he's on the court. He doesn't force anything. He doesn't try to make anything look pretty. He just gets the job done. What I love about him the most is he never tries to do too much. You're not going to really see him force up bad shots. He'll take what he gets in the flow of the offense. He'll get the ball to the right player. He often, like, I would say more than 80% of the time, makes the correct pass.
The correct pass. Yeah, exactly. Do you remember Rondé Hollis Jefferson?
Yes.
Yes. Lefty as well. Similar games, but Thaddeus Young is much smarter in different respects. He can obviously he's averaging 6'5". Is that an accurate kind of the pitch? So what I would say is Thaddeus Young is a smarter. He just makes winning plays, as you said before. He makes winning plays. He can be a factor on the glass.
6'8", 6'9", big body, strong.
And what is Masai and Bobby trying to do? They're trying to accumulate these and develop these 6'9", 6'10" hybrid forwards into being able to handle the ball around the perimeter. The one thing about Kem Birch is that, unfortunately, his ball handling skills aren't as up to par as the other guys that are around his size. But he does enough things on the glass and kind of the dirty plays where it makes his value kind of go up, right? So, and in the thing that makes everything stir the pot most efficiently is Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse puts these guys in positions where they can thrive. And I think there's no one on the team that's selfish and whatnot. They just want to win. And what they're doing, they're winning. And I remember Fred VanVleet said that, hey, if we don't play up to par to what we can do, our potential, we're just an average team. But when we play like up to potential, we're a top 5, top 4 team in the East. And that's facts. That's facts.
Mm-hmm.
All right, anyways.
No, I completely agree, man. Like, I was mentioning this on the other podcast, and you mentioned it earlier in the podcast as well. That full court press that they put on, do you see how quickly that startled Houston? Like, they were just coughing up the ball, like they had shotguns pointed at them, hand it over. You know what I mean?
Come here, put her up. Yeah,
put her
exactly.
up. And they were coughing it up. Immediate 3 turnovers in a row in the what was it, in the second quarter when they put that on?
Yeah.
Or was that in the first? I think in the second quarter, and then they did it again in the third.
Yeah.
They did it again in the third, and it was effective again. And then after that, the game was pretty much in the Raptors' hand.
Let me ask you, and that was, they just didn't play defense at all. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that NBA teams kind of sway away from, practicing how to break a press in the NBA? Because you see it so much in college and high school, but it seems like for some reason, when Nick Nurse puts this 1-2-2 diamond press on them, for some reason, they just shrivel up. Some teams just shrivel up and don't, forget.
I don't think they shy away. I don't think they practice it a lot, like a press break, because you typically don't really see it that often in the NBA. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, is there any reason to practice a press break? I would say yes, just in case you see it. But I would say, I mean, it's pretty tough in the NBA, man. It's guys can break your press really easily. And if they run through your press, because you have to remember, right? There's high risk, high reward when you run a full court press. Of course. High risk is you're getting them to turn the ball over. But if you don't run that press correctly from the jump, they're going to break it easily. And then the opposition is back and they're in transition. And you're probably looking at a 2-on-1, 3-on-1, or a 3-on-2, 2-on-1. Yeah. And then that's just an easy bucket, right? So it's like a zone almost, right? If you don't run a zone properly, it's going to be easy to pick apart. And it's the same thing with a press.
Absolutely. Hey, you sound like a coach right now. You got to start coaching. Listen,
BG, listen. You know, I started coaching with your aunt when I was, 15? And I coached for 12 years straight, and I was like, I need a break. I've coached for 12 years straight. And
get on the bench. Get on the bench. You can't dribble. Get out of here. But anyways, I wanted to bring up the major trade, the blockbuster trade between the Nets and the 76ers. James Harden, who averaged 22, 8, and 10, traded for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
who do you think won this trade? Why? I'll give you my take as well too, and just your overall take about the entire situation, because I think it's everyone got what they wanted, but what do you take away from it?
I think both teams won this trade, to be honest with you, because James Harden is going to stay in Philadelphia, and Ben Simmons and Brooklyn are probably made for each other at this point, because Brooklyn has two guys in Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant who are absolutely clutch, right? And Ben Simmons doesn't have to be a guy who's worried about, okay, let's try and get this guy the ball to see what he can do with 10 seconds left. He'll never have to be put in that position, right? There's no pressure on him for that. What they're going to look for Ben Simmons to do is a guy who's going to be able to go 94 feet and push the ball up the floor. They're going to be looking for him, right? They're going to be looking for him for playmaking. They're going to be looking for him to be aggressive getting to the rim, because he's going to have shooters around him. They're going to be looking for him to rebound. He's in a very good spot right now. He will have the guys around him. He will have the guys around him to be able to get buckets. What he's going to have to try to do is to suck the defense in, right? Kyrie Irving is a guy who can suck the defense in, but a guy like Ben Simmons, once he gets into the paint, I mean, good luck. It's going to be tough to stop him when he gets into the paint.
When he gets downhill,
he's fast. Like you said, he's coming downhill. He's like a freight train when he gets in there. His only issue is really on the perimeter in a half-court set. And that's in terms of him shooting the ball. He can still do other things in a half-court set, but his only real flaw is shooting the ball. Aside from that, you look at Ben Simmons, he can do anything. He can do it. He's one of the best defenders in the league. He can pretty much guard all 5 positions. Rebound end-to-end. His assist-making and playmaking is fantastic. His core vision is fantastic. His ball handling skills are on par. I mean, what's your assessment when you look at this guy on this team?
I think the Nets won this trade. Like, this is the year they have to go and get as far as they can in the playoffs. Hopefully, KD comes back healthy. It's a shame that James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and KD went 13-3, and then it's just done. And it's really a shame. But what I'll say is, you have Seth Curry, you have Patty Mills, you have Thomas, Day'Ron Sharpe before, and Andre Drummond, right? All in the same team with KD and Kyrie.
And Seth Curry was a big part of that deal.
I'm surprised that they gave him up just for James. I'm surprised that they let him go. I know they would have to pay him, so on and so forth. But when it comes to Ben Simmons, the pressure is alleviated, and it's off of him now to make a bucket, or to have to shoot the ball at all. All he needs to do is make sure that his mind is right, get the ball to guys like Kyrie, get the ball to guys like Patty Mills, off a screen, for instance, facilitate the offense in an efficient way, and get downhill and make a few layups if he needs to. So right now, he's put in the perfect position to succeed. And I really thought that him and Embiid could have done something together, but I think there was just too much turmoil. Playing in Philly is definitely tough. James Harden is in a place now where I knew he wanted to be with a big. He can pretty much up his assist rate to give the ball to Joel Embiid, who I believe right now is playing at the MVP level. I think he's the best player.
I think he's the MVP.
I think he's bar none. So putting James Harden in that mix, where they're going to have to pay him probably upwards of $60 million come the end of the year, until he's around 37 years old, which will be nuts. It will still be worth it if they're getting to a conference championship or to a finals, for instance. I just really want to see James Harden.
A conference championship is not going to be good enough. They got to win it all.
You have to at this point. But you have Tyrese Maxey, all right. You have Thibault. You have a few guys that are still around.
Harris is still
Tobias
there.
Harris, exactly right. So all those guys are going to get their points here and there. But Joel Embiid, that pick and roll, I'm just pick and roll between Joel Embiid and James Harden is going to be. When's the last time? I don't think we've had a better pick and roll situation since I don't remember LeBron and.
Well, we got to see it first.
We have to see it, but those two guys together in pick and roll situations, unstoppable. So I'm excited about that for sure. I'm going to talk about another trade right here. I will get back to that. Kristaps Porzingis from the Dallas Mavericks sent to the Washington Wizards for Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans and a pick. What's your assessment of that? Do the Wizards get better at all? I personally believe that the Wizards probably got a little bit worse. No, you know what? They're decent.
I like it a lot for Dallas.
I love it for Dallas, him and Luka Doncic. But yeah, like you tell me, especially with Bradley Beal for the year, what is Kristaps' career amounting to right now? It's looking like he's regressing.
Honestly, I don't know, man. Like, this is a guy who we really thought was going to be dominant in this league from what we saw for a brief time in New York, right? Then he gets injured. We didn't see him a while. He gets traded to Dallas. I still feel like in Dallas he's been injured quite a bit too, right? Like we haven't seen him. We haven't seen him that much, and he definitely hasn't been playing at the level where he was at a time in New York when he just came into the league.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to think about Kristaps Porzingis anymore. I really don't. Like, I don't know. Like, what is his ceiling in terms of his points and rebounds and just overall effectiveness in the game? I don't know what that is anymore. I feel like one game he could score 20, and then the next two games he'll score like 6 or 5. And then he'll score maybe 25, and then maybe he'll score 7. Like, I just don't see the consistency there anymore. I know he used to be kind of a bit of a force on the defensive end too, right?
He used to be, yeah.
I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I'm interested to see what he does in the lineup without Bradley Beal, though. I'm interested in seeing that.
Right.
I just don't know what we're gonna get from him.
He really should have taken a page out of Chris Boucher's book, where he reverts from being a guy that's going to be in the perimeter to just mucking the game up and getting his points where he can. So being on the glass, getting your points, and even stepping out and taking your threes here and there, but getting more involved in the game and being active that way.
Hustle play.
That's hustle play. I'm plugging your show. Hustle play, hardest show out on the YouTube streets right now for sure. Hustle play. Let's go. Hey, Scotty Barnes, Masai Ujiri said he's exactly what we thought he would be. And exactly what he's doing. Rookie of the year? Is he the rookie of the year? Because I don't think
he's going to be rookie of the year. I don't think he's going to be rookie of the year. I think he'll be in the top 3. But I think Evan Mobley at this point is the guy who is – I think he's going to end up getting rookie of the year. Cade Cunningham is doing really well as well.
Nice.
Since getting into the lineup from that injury. He's nice. He's nice on both ends. Yeah. You know what's funny? Cade Cunningham, Scotty Barnes, and Evan Mobley, all 3 of them are really good on both ends of the floor. They're not just one-sided players. You know what I mean?
Right.
So those 3 guys, those 3 guys are going to be in the NBA, and they're going to be all of them are going to be stars. You can book it. Trust me, all of them are going to be stars. If you have any one of these players, if you're Detroit, Toronto, and Cleveland, you should be happy either way. They'll all be in the top 3 for Rookie of the Year.
There we go. And Jalen Suggs plays one side of the ball. So remember in the past when everyone's like, yo, it's got to be Jalen Suggs. He's injured. He's out of listen, I'm a big Jalen Suggs guy, but he
still looks okay. He still looks okay.
He has a long ways to go. And Jalen Green, speaking of the dunk contest, we have, that's about to be something.
This might get interesting.
This is going to be good. So we got Obi Toppin back again, I believe, after winning last year.
Don't sleep on Toppin.
He's nice.
Don't sleep on Toppin. He's a big dude, but he can fly.
Right. We got Jalen Green, who I'm really excited to see from the Rockets. Cole Anthony and Juan Toscano Anderson from the Warriors. So the last 2 are questionable, but Jalen Green, Obi Toppin, I think that's going to be.
Anthony is interesting. I wonder if he could be a surprise.
You can say he's lint. It's fine. He could be a surprise. He can drop.
Never mind. He's lint.
All right, let me get your take this. Before we get out of here, let me ask you. What was your take on Ozark? Are there any shows you're currently watching? And what's going on in the life of Mike Roach other than hustle play and what you do when we see on the internet?
I mean, not much besides our podcast, the 6-Man podcast, which we do. I got the Mike Roach podcast. Now Hustle Play with Chris Boucher on Yahoo, which is awesome. That's fun. Can't wait till you guys see what else we got cooking. Mm-hmm. Being down in the arena. So just busy as usual. Ozark I did get through the first half. I got to look up when the second half was coming out.
I gotta see that too. Yeah.
But it is.
Yo, it's mad.
It's definitely one of the GOAT shows right now. Like,
Yo.
it's up there.
Okay, I put on my Instagram if people prefer Breaking Bad over Ozark. It was 81% to 19%. Over 30 people. There's a lot of people actually voted on it, but
who did they pick?
They picked Breaking Bad because it's nostalgic. It's
I know, I get it.
It's nostalgic, but literally, I think there was 10 people that chose Ozark, and I'm with the Ozark people. Man. I'm telling you, the second half, whatever we see in the second half, is going to dictate everything. I'm going to repost it again and see what people say.
Or recency bias, is that it?
Yeah, recency bias.
Breaking Bad was crazy. Like Breaking Bad was crazy.
But Marty Bird.
It's been a minute now. So this could be recency bias.
Yeah.
But Ozark is crazy.
Yo, if you did not watch Ozark, please go out and please watch that show because it's incredible. So anyways, we'll get back to that. If there's any other shows you're watching, we'll bring that up again. Is there any last things you want to say?
There is another show I'm watching. Now, I'm not sure if I should say this to BG because I might get roasted.
It's okay. It's fine. You can say it.
Yeah,
yo,
of
it's
course
fine.
You
can
want me
say
to say it, right?
Yeah. Hey, listen. I've been in when I was in a relationship. I watched like Love Is Blind and those other shows. So that's
that one's
fine.
not bad. I've seen the first season to that. Yeah. I'm watching the book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually. The way you said that was Joe. So I used to be a big Boba Fett guy back in the day. I'm not gonna roast you.
I didn't know. I didn't even know who the hell Boba Fett was. Like
what? This is a remake of it.
Yeah, but was he like from back in the day in Star Wars?
Yeah, back in the day in Star Wars. Like when I was in grade 2, I had like the toys of Boba Fett.
But was he like a G back then, like he is now?
He was nasty back then. Yeah, he was. Yes, but I didn't watch the show.
I don't understand where he actually is in that Star Wars world. So I'm not a Star Wars guy at all. I don't watch Star Wars at all. But he's hard. Like
he's tough.
I can't even lie. He's a G.
So you just so you didn't want to watch The Mandalorian. You just randomly just decided to watch Boba Fett.
You know what? Somebody was talking about it, and I looked it up, and I was like, well, "This looks kind of cool or whatever." But then I watched like the first couple episodes, and I'm like, "Yo, this guy's gangster."
This guy's sick. Eh? Okay, I'm gonna have to watch it because I need to read. Is it in Disney Plus?
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus, and then things kind of gangster too, man. Who are those goddamn fat blobs that keep getting carried around by everyone?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a Star Wars thing. Yeah, they're called
like the Star Wars stuff, man.
Yeah, Star Wars stuff. So it is what it is. But hey, man, 6-Man podcast. It's a great episode, man. Great episode. Hopefully, we'll check back again after the All-Star break. The Raptors. I want to ask you this last thing before we leave. Mm-hmm. Where do you see the Raptors finishing in the Eastern Conference? The way they're playing right now, and the way the roster is currently constructed, do you see them in a top 4, top 5 kind of range?
I can see them 5 or 6. I don't see them with home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. I see them on the road to start, but I think they'll be a playoff team. I could see them in that 5 to 7 range-ish. Mm-hmm. I think more along the lines of 5 or 6. I think they'll be good enough to the point where they won't have to participate in any playing game or anything like that. Just because of how they're clicking right now, the depth chart for them. If they can keep getting stuff from Boucher and Achua, along with a guy like Thaddeus Young. Now, I did mention 3 guys that are all at the forward positions. Hopefully we can land. I don't know if we'll be able to land somebody, but even a guy like Justin Champagnie, if we can get him for, 9 to maybe 13 minutes a game and he can do something on the perimeter in regards to some shooting or whatnot, that's good. Mm-hmm. But even having a guy like Delano Banton coming in as that backup PG, right? He's been effective, and I've really liked the way he's played. So if we can get that contribution from the bench as well as the productive 5 that they have to start the game, I could see them staying at that 5 or 6 spot.
Yeah, and they're still they said they're gonna explore the buyout options for some guys, but right. I don't know if you really see too many guys kind of getting signed. But we're gonna talk about the Lakers next time. That'll be another episode because that's a travesty. All right. Anyways,
and a lot of times we don't see too many guys from the buyout market sign with Toronto.
That's true.
Typically, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the
Yeah,
times we
good
see
point.
them go to like Miami, or they end up in Milwaukee, or whatever. They end up with like the contenders at the top of the conferences, but we'll see what happens. You never know. We'll see what happens.
I'm looking forward to that, man. Great point. All right, this is the Six Man Podcast. We will be on every social media, well, every listening platform. You can find our podcast there. Keep balling, and we'll be back really soon. Take care, guys.